I broadcast, is that your son, Rob Dupniak, or?
No.
Oh,
no,
God,
I
was. Yes, yeah, exactly. So, but I broadcast
We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
The Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
Oh, it's over? I didn't even realize if they played Croatia or not. What the hell? Very poorly produced. All right, yeah, so Bob Duvniak actually is Manhasset 12, so I was off. But his brother also, Michael Duvniak, I remember broadcasting. Andy Duvniak. I mean, not even just this, it always goes back to Long Island. So I could be on a subway if I ever want to go to San Francisco. It'll always end up going back to Long Island.
That you say that because there doesn't seem to be a lot of Maryland guys.
You know, that's a good point. There's not like, let's say, some guy from, I don't know, like, let's say Israel, like 3 Israelis from Severna Park, Maryland. But it's like too far. Very wealthy and Manhasset and bam. Okay, here we go. And once again, good afternoon and welcome to our coverage from Wrocław, Poland. You're watching the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championships on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. Up next, the matchup in Group C. Both nations losing 2 days ago. Croatia battling Sweden, both at 0-1. Croatia 13-2 loss to Ireland. Sweden 16-4 loss at the hands of Wales. Hi everybody and welcome. Ralph Bednarchuk alongside Thomas Volevsky, and both teams trying to move the needle forward here, TD, after being smothered defensively in each of their games by good teams, obviously Ireland and Wales. And here's an opportunity to perhaps score some goals against one another and try to build off of this today.
Right, and you know what? I was thinking about right before the game. The field was already wet. We got a little rain. It's going to slow the game down. It'll be interesting to see the shots that we see on goal because to try to skip the ball into the goal is going to be a little more difficult on the wet turf.
Croatia in the red, and they win the opening possessions. We'll go through lineups. And for Sweden in goal, Richard Seidlitz is in net. And on the other end, for Croatia, they'll have Tomas Turgo. Croatia with their first offensive possession with Eric Dominic on attack with John Brennan, who's a native Long Islander out of Manhasset, and Ryan Gorup. And then the first offensive midfield, as that shot is through. Seidlitz on the lefty dodge, and the goal for Marin Petar Domic, and it's 1-0. Domic is able to get down the left alley and get his hands free.
For any of the kids that are watching this game, you can see that he took an overhand shot right to the goal. Very effective.
Domic will start the scoring on the very opening possession here from Wrocław. And it's a team that is about 80% homegrown for Croatia. That's something that their head coach, Kevin Boyle, who is a native of Pittsburgh, is very excited about. Domic, though, has come up and grown up in California with Beverly Hills Lacrosse. He's played a long time. Face-off win here at the feet of Luka Kukulecha. And Kukulecha is going to be doing a lot. He is one of the rare players in this tournament that's going to face off and run first midfield, a very grueling situation here for Luka Kukuleka, as Eric Dominic will handle. So it's Kukuleka on the first midfield with Marin Domic and Luke Horish Blight on the first midfield. And defensively, Aron Lalkerfeld along with Gustav Ekman on close D. And the third being Raphael Nielsen. Skip pass is knocked down, and Gustav Thompson will be the long pick mini for Sweden. On the push the other way, it is Thompson. Gustav Thompson tried to shovel off a pass with a flag out, looking for Anton Bromander. And we'll get our first flag, and Sweden will go man up.
Well, Ralph, you saw there was an unforced error right there. Sweden got control of the ball, and now they got a man-up opportunity. We'll see as the game progresses who has the most unforced errors, because it makes a big difference in the outcome of any of these games.
Now Sweden with the man up, and Sweden with their leading score, 2 goals and an assist from Kevin Powers up top, just scored his 150th of his international career. He starts on the umbrella, in tight. Anton Bromander is stuffed on the short side, and able to get over there is Thomas Turgo. Turgo is 38 years old. They nicknamed him Tata. He loves playing goalie. The skip pass comes, still with the man-up advantage for the Swedes, trailing 1-0. Then rolling the pass along, there was really no angle, and Bromander was not expecting a rolled pass. That was the attackman on the wing, Jonathan Quigley, that felt he needed to roll it over to him, and that is one of the many unforced turnovers. And we might see today as Turgo under pressure, and Croatia will look for the clear.
That goes to show you the importance of having the offensive player on the X position to be there on the shot and be closest to the line to keep possession.
Luke Rogic, Horish Bright is able to come up with a clear. And Kukuleka outside. And now Ryan Gorup here to dodge from outside. Croatia had a 10-day training camp in Zagreb leading up into this tournament. Outside shot, save made by Seidlitz on the step down from outside from Horish Bright. And Sweden will look for a clear. However, they ride up the sideline, and there's nowhere to go. Cutting him off was Christian Kapitanovic.
That was a nice save by the goalie. Stepped out of the goal, picked it up.
Kapitanovic, a native of Zagreb. Sweden with possession, and they'll play it back through Seidlitz, who started and played the first 3.5 quarters a couple days ago in the loss to Wales in Group C. Big result earlier, Ireland 11-2, big over Wales to secure their position to capture the group. This is the lone 4-team group in C. Armenia, unfortunately, having to withdraw and pull out late. Kevin Powers rolls back and gets the shot off. There'll be a lot of pressure on Powers, who's a native of Issaquah, Washington. Played club lacrosse at Dominican College in California. And he's been a part of the Swedish program for about 12 years. Raking for the loose ball. And Sweden on the ride. And finally, Sweden will come up with it. Ludvig Thompson. Starting attack, Ludvig Thompson along with Anton Bromander and Kevin Powers, the captain, are the 3 starting attackmen, with Quigley, Neil Schneider, and Anton Johansson on the midfield. Johansson, number 11, now moving into an offensive position for this game as that shot goes wide. And talking to the Swedish staff and head coach Martin Davidsson, who has been a part of the national team since the early days, 1991, looking for better ball movement, moving it faster in their second game, and less penalties and fouls than they committed against Wales that put them in a great disadvantage. They played a ton of defense against Wales and also lost the bulk of the faceoffs, about an 80-20 percentage against Sweden in that game. So Croatia is able to clear. Several Americans or North Americans on this Croatian team have been significant in leading by example in terms of how to work. Here again, it is Marin Domic. Domic this time showing off his offhand, not as much velocity, but he places it well and fooling Seidlitz. It's 2-0.
Well, it goes to show you, you don't always need to have the most powerful shot to make a goal. He just had great position there. Had a nice dodge coming down the field and was able to put it into the back corner.
Domic with the right hand, alley dodge has both. And to the faceoff X for Luka Kukuleka. Kukuleka against Henrik Nelson. And Nelson has the better position, and Nelson is able to capture it. Kukulecha, though, will continue with the pressure. And finally, Sweden up with it momentarily. Anton Johansson, who is in law school for Sweden. Still a long scrum in the face-off man. Nelson is knocked down, and finally the Swedes are able to come up with it from Gustav Thompson. And here comes Powers. Powers scoring a very slick goal against Wales to get the Swedes started on Thursday. And he is the obvious guy at the top of every opponent's scouting report. Flag is down that Powers drew. Powers then is smothered, keeps possession, bounces it, looking for a teammate. And now we'll check on the call. A hold will be called for 30 seconds against Croatia. And the Swedes can get their offense started with a man up. A 2-0 start for Croatia. You might even be hearing the wind that is coming across. Very overcast and cold. Temperatures perhaps about 60 degrees at best here in the afternoon in Poland. They've been saying better weather is on the way. They've been saying that now for 4 days.
Be interesting to see what Sweden can do if they can put it in the back of the net.
Powers, Bromander, room for Quigley, and the bouncer smothered by Turgo.
Nice save by the goalie.
Tomas Turgo was able to read it here off of this natural grass field, we should point out to our viewing audience. And this grass field has started to get beaten up. It's inevitable, Tom, it was going to happen with your son being a goalie. You could already see the dirt and the mud starting to build there. And how these fields will hold up will be a difference maker, I think, in terms of shot selection for players. And then even greater, how the goalies will read those shots in front of them that bounce in and around the crease.
Absolutely. Well, the ball's going to slow down when someone's trying to do a bounce shot to the goal. The ball is going to slow down in the wet turf, and it's going to take a different bounce. So I would say that probably you're going to see a little more shooting that aren't bounce shots, that are more to the other higher parts or the outside parts of the goal.
Ryan Gorup with that shot, trying to go low to high on this end for Croatia. And Croatia having backup. Gorup played collegiate lacrosse at Pace University. That's in Pleasantville, New York, just north of New York City. And he provides a lefty presence and, of course, a veteran for this team, too. Then he takes this bouncing shot, does Gorup. Actually, Gorup is a natural righty, but he showed a decent left hand on the last one. And backup belongs and stays here with Croatia. Nearing 4 minutes to go, opening quarter. Marin Domic with both goals. Trying to turn the corner is Domic, getting the screen from Gorup. Feed to the crease, wide open, and the quick stick missed inside. John Brennan was open, worried about his feet below him, and perhaps that affected the accuracy.
That was a nice opportunity to put it into the back of the net, but a good check as well.
Croatia having backup. They're playing fast and loose here in this possession. On the handle, Domic skips one in. Seidlitz this time able to handle it well off the grass. No rebound allowed by Richard Seidlitz. Now Sweden to try to execute the clear. And Seidlitz will locate a teammate. Here's the very flexible Anton Johansson. Played and started at close D on Thursday against Wales. They needed him there, but the decision's been made. We will probably need him more on offense moving forward. He is one of the captains and a true two-way midfielder. There's Anton Johansson. Had a chance to meet him. He's one of the many that have played lacrosse at Springfield College in Mass, as his shot, I think, is stopped by Turgo. Might have been in between passing and shooting, and Turgo will search for the clear to his long pole in Tim Ivancic. Timothy Ivancic, and they go to the near side here for Robbie Dubniak, who played collegiately at Harvard. Push ahead from Jonathan Ford. Ford with the shot, and Ford that may have grazed some pipe. On the long rebound out front, Neil Schneider. And a chance to transition for the first time for the Swedes. Across it went, and that is not a connected pass. Duvniak got his stick in the way just to make it a more difficult pass. We have a flag down near midfield. Illegal procedure called for 30 seconds. And that appears it's on Croatia. So something behind the play that we did not catch. Luka Kukulecha is going to be the one that serves the foul. And Sweden, with their second man up, gets going to work. They got a decent look. Their first man up. Quigley begins movement. Johansson. The circle from Ludvig Thompson down to the crease as they look for Gustav Nordqvist, 10 in yellow. It's finally picked up by Tomas Turgo. Turgo with a nice outlet here to Bruno Srezovic. Srezovic as he lays it off for the attack in Brennan. And Croatia has now made Sweden 0 for 2 on man up, and they have a 2-0 lead.
Well, you know, Sweden had an opportunity there, and they took an outside shot, and the Croatian goalie is, he's quick, and it's going to be hard to score from an outside shot like that, especially your only option really is to you don't have a bounce pass option, and it's going to be hard to score from him from out there. I thought that they should have worked the ball in a little more.
My sense is, TD, that the bounce shots are just not going to explode anymore with each passing day, as that's a failed pass. Christian Kapitanovic, he was looking to go cross field with that pass.
So far we've seen a number of unforced errors from both teams. It doesn't seem at this point in time anyone necessarily, even though Croatia is up 2-0, it doesn't seem like anyone's sort of dominating the game at this point in time.
After the Kapitanovic turnover, Sweden will give it right back with the failed clear. Duvniak. And then Duvniak overthrows his man, and right back forth we go. Gustav Ekman, and then Ekman trying to catch the goalie out of position. And they are throwing the ball all the way across the field. And then this ball, Eric Dominic couldn't handle it, and that is the end of the first quarter. Well, neither team both sensing in the final seconds to try to heave it forward. Turgo, I thought, maybe was out of cage, and Sweden tried to catch him from being in position. End of the first quarter. It is 2-0 Croatia from World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV. Start of the second quarter from Group C, and Croatia leads Sweden 2-0. Ralph Bednarczyk alongside Thomas Dvalewski. Series of turnovers for Sweden. They had 2 men ups but couldn't cash in. And Marin Domic has goals with each hand to lead Croatia. Henrik Nelson facing off against Luka Kukulecha of Croatia. And Nelson reaches, and it'll be decided on the wing by Gustav Thompson. So here is Kevin Powers, still without a shot. Captain for Sweden. Certainly the offense would have to start with him. And outside Ludvig Thompson.
So as we were discussing at the break, there really hasn't been a dominant face-off situation for either team. Some of the other games that we have been a part of, there's been one person who's dominated at face-off, and it's made all the difference in the end score.
Trying to work his way through is Yul Salenhag, but he was sandwiched. Turgo is up with it as he slips down and is in trouble. Tomas Turgo, he's going to pick up a flag though, and the flag is against Sweden. So Turgo, see if he was interfered with. They call a 1-minute slash as Turgo was out of goal. That's a real bailout for Croatia.
I think when any player's on the ground and gets hit with a stick, you're going to see a flag.
First man up for Croatia. Croatia spending 10 days together in Zagreb. Only 1-a-day training sessions for Kevin Boyle. Then they went through meetings. He was very focused on not wearing his team out with 2-a-day practices, and that fine line, if you want to practice a lot, you want to accelerate things. As Domic on the wing.
Very nice ball movement going on right now.
Swung behind for Horish Blight. Gorup. Domic with a peek as they look for the sneak down low for Horish Blight. And Domic here with a patient set. It is a 1-minute foul. Now popping out is Dominic Erich. They attempt to skip pass in front from Horish Blight. That's knocked down, recovered. And Croatia keeps possession through John Brennan. The skip up top, Domic. Domic taken out of his shooting spot and back for Brennan, and we were all even. A wonderful job by Sweden, not overcommitting. They knocked down one pass, but they prevent Croatia from getting one shot off.
I was going to say the same thing. Sweden did a great job on the man down, not letting Croatia take a shot on goal.
Domic, hands free. Domic has all 3 for Croatia. His second with his left hand, and Domic able to get all of his momentum going towards goal. Domic just turned 21 years old in April, and representing some young legs for this Croatian team. So Croatia has now surpassed their total output against Ireland, and Ireland so far through 2 games has allowed a total of 4 goals in their games against Croatia and Wales, and proving they're going to be extremely stingy into the knockout round. Henrik Nelson push with possession. Kukulecha losing that face-off.
And we continue to see a battle each time there's a face-off for the ball. Not any clean clears so far.
Ludvig Thompson. Sweden failing on a couple of man-ups. And Thomas Turgo has made one pretty quality save. Anton Johansson. As he tries to roll back to his left, pestered. Goes back to the weak side, Powers rather, in a one-on-one situation. Powers bouncer, Turgo, able to hold the pipe. Keeping it possession with Ludvig Thompson. And that's the best Sweden has looked so far. They'll reinitiate again with Thompson. Thompson draws the help, has the cutter, and the shot missed. Joel Salenhag had the shot, and the subtle trail check by Bobby Duvniak forced that shot wide. Duvniak, a tremendous player at Harvard, out of Manhasset High School class of 2012, one of the national powers and Long Island powers in New York. Here is Duvniak. And Duvniak with the drop-off, as looking to start transition is Srezovic. Croatia, though, in the failed clear. Sweden rakes forward through Rafael Nielsen and back into the stick of Powers. A 3-0 Croatia advantage as we hit the 9-minute mark of this second quarter. Sweden held to 4 goals by Wales. They spent a lot of time playing defense in that one and could never get into any rhythm either. Duvniak has the ground ball find him, and he locates a midfielder in Luke Horish Bright. He's from Western Canada, Croatian mom. And after a skip pass, and it's finally handled by Brennan of Croatia. Croatia were organized offensively. Kapetanovic, 11 in red. Domic has all 3. He'll attack the D-mini and Oscar Gramming as he has backup behind. Croatia's sets, TD have felt have been pretty patient. There is no shot clock, of course, international game yet.
Right, and Croatia is starting almost every single goal with spreading out the field, and then they work their way back into the net.
They get a look, right hand look from Ryan Gorup.
It's interesting to see the different styles of the goalies. Sweden goalie tends to look like he plays a more mechanical game, being that he tries to shut down the angles, whereas the Croatian goalie is more reactive to the play on the field. It's an interesting difference, and both are effective.
Brendan, look for a cutter. He's got a man on the sneak and a one-hand finish. It's Domic again. Marin Domic, 4 goals, all 4 have been different. That was a sweeping finish on a pass that came from Brennan up top.
Nice pass, right on. He was right on top of the goalie. The goalie would be impossible to make a save on that unless you're lucky.
Domic, even with the defender mainly draped on him, was still able to control it and dunk it in. He's got 2 with his left, 1 right alley dodge finish, and now 1, as we just saw, an unusual one, but still one of great skill. And the face-off pickup by the pole, Gustav Thompson. Maybe a chance to run for the first time for Sweden, but the trail check denies him that opportunity. Great hustle from behind by Jonathan Ford, who played 4 years at Notre Dame, graduating a couple years ago as a national champion. Duvniak led the break. Across it went for Brennan, and that's out of his reach. And Croatia turns it over. Jonathan Ford's older brother also played for Croatia. Mom is Croatian. And the 2 brothers have enjoyed in renewing their connections to their heritage. Ford will cross. Ford thinks about the deep shot. And before his stick was lifted, we have not seen the deep shot here yet for many of these teams. As we'll hit 5 minutes to go, second quarter, and Croatia still shutting out Sweden.
You know, a little mishandling of the ball by both teams throughout the game so far. I mean, as a young player, they're always taught to protect the rock, as they say, and ball possession is everything in these games.
Particularly with no shot clock. Domic a throwback, open man, Brennan. Well, Marin Domic has done it all. This time returns the favor to Brennan. Brennan the goal, 5-0 Croatia.
Nice ball movement, being able to pass it right to the open player in front of the net. Beautiful goal.
Brennan converts. There are 3 players from Manhasset High School playing in this game. And Brennan, his brother, and Bobby Duvniak are those from one of the national powers, always consistently competing for championships. John Brennan playing primarily in an attack role, but popping out to make good passes in this one. Face-off win.
Anyone familiar with Long Island lacrosse knows about the history of Manhasset. As a matter of fact, Jim Brown, the legendary football player, played at Manhasset, and as well as at Syracuse.
6-0 Croatia, as Dominik Eric will come up with the goal to finish off transition for Croatia. Timeout taken by Sweden. Eric got a nice pass, and it is all going well now for Croatia, finding transition and making things very difficult on the Swedes on the offensive end. Timeout taken by Coach Martin Davidson with 3:27 to play. 6-0 Croatia. Croatia, as I talked about with Kevin Boyle, so proud that they're starting to get more and more homegrown. One of the other elements of this team that we haven't had a chance to see or talk about yet is they have 4 players that are part of the junior national ice hockey program in Croatia that are playing lacrosse. They picked it up very recently, but Kevin Boyle noted their immediate athleticism stuck out. The stick skills took some time, but it was more about the tactics and learn how to play as a team. So the 4 of them are primarily playing short stick D-midi. And that has also accelerated Croatia and gotten them to be more homegrown and maybe added to their depth a little bit in terms of being able to have less guys that have to play 2 ways and to not burn them out.
Right. Well, it's interesting when you look at the player rosters. It really stood out to me that almost a large percentage of the lacrosse players also play hockey. And it is a similar game in terms of strategy and puck movement versus ball movement, setting up the goal and how you go about doing it. So a lot of the skill sets that you have from hockey transfer over to lacrosse.
And then being so consistently in shape from hockey made that a very seamless transition too. And the 2 Brennan brothers, didn't mention Michael Brennan yet, and John, a.k.a. Jack Brennan, on offense. Face-off win by Nelson, but then that's thrown away. So Henrik Nelson rushed the pass, and that's been a microcosm of what's occurred here to Sweden in the second quarter. It was just 2-0 after 1. 2 very good individual goals by Marin Domic provided the scoring, but here in the second, Croatia has gotten more comfortable as a team, and they get the clear from Luke Horish-Bright.
Yeah, Croatia's starting to settle into the game. They're feeling more comfortable. You can see the passes that they're making, the outlets. They're beginning to find the open player around the net, and it's showing.
Kapetanovic tried to feed the ball back to X. Domic will swing back. It is not a man up here. Hands free, and the shot sent over the top by Horish Bright. Croatia with backup. 2 minutes to go. Second quarter. Clock will stop on any whistle inside of 30 seconds. And then in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, it'll stop on any whistle. Luke Horish Bright. Bright has played at Florida Southern. That's become a Division II power among the many Division II excellent schools now in Florida as the game continues to grow. As Brennan got the look on the run. Brennan completing his very good career at Fairfield University, where he finished up in 2020, or rather 2019. Started his career at Colgate with a throwback to Horish Blight. 70 seconds left. First half as the sun makes its first appearance of the day. We hope it stays a while.
It's nice to see.
It's nice to see it still exists.
Yeah.
Here in Poland, we haven't seen it much. Ryan Gorup, it's become a myth. Gorup trying to break down the D-mid. He takes the shot on the move as that deflects through. Well, we hope that the rain will hold off enough, particularly for the sake of these players, so that these two grass fields will be able to maintain their shapes long enough. These grass fields are getting on average 3 games a day on them, fields 2 and 3, and the teams are also practicing on them either late night or early morning. So there's really no chance for recovery and for the field crews as Gorup ends up turning it over. Neil Schneider with the good work as the short stick D-mid to prevent him from breaking him down.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ralph. You're beginning to see a little wear and tear around the goals at the midfield. With all the players with cleats and running back and forth, the fields are going to take a beating over the course of this event.
And a timeout taken. So Sweden to gather things defensively. Croatia will talk this over, leading 6-0. Marin Domic, already one of the games of the tournament, 4 goals and an assist. Game high in any game so far is 6, set on opening night on Wednesday by Kaden Lasimski of Czechia. And that, to my knowledge, has yet to be broken. But still many more games left to be played here in pool play. This is one of nearly 100 games that we'll be bringing you on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV. Across this championship in Wrocław, the top 7 advancing into the World Championships in 2027. The 5 group winners are all assured a place in that top 7, and then there'll be 2, in essence, wild card spots that can be played into the quarterfinals. And goal differential is also a factor as Croatia comes out of the timeout. Brennan here with 8:42 to go, second quarter. As Brennan zips the pass a little bit too low. Rather, Gorup too low for his teammate Jack Brennan as it's shoveled outside a cage. And that will be all. Actually, that clock that I was looking at was 8.4 seconds. That wasn't clear. And that is all for the first half. Domic with 4 goals and an assist, and we have reached halftime. 6-0 Croatia leading Sweden in Group C action from Wrocław at the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championship. We'll be back in 10 minutes with the second half.
we honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally by World Lacrosse.
The Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
start of the third quarter from Wrocław, Poland. Group C game has Croatia leading Sweden 6-0. Marin Domic so far with a tremendous game. One of the best individual performances is starting to be written as Henrik Nelson wins the faceoff and now looks for an outlet. That's been a problem for Sweden. They've won a better amount of the faceoffs, but they have not been able to equate that into offensive possessions as Bobby Duvniak will swing it back. Domic has 4 goals and an assist. But the ride will lead to a takeaway. Powers to the front. Save made. Tomas Turgo. Best scoring chance of the game for Sweden. As this third quarter, Thomas Dvalewski is off very quickly. If you're Martin Davidson of Sweden, you had 10 minutes to gather your team. What do you think he talked about?
You know, I think that they would be talking about the turnovers, the unforced errors, protecting the ball. I would have to think that would have to be at the top of their list. They are, as you just mentioned, winning their share of the face-offs. No one is dominating at that position right now, and but each time that Sweden seems to win the face-off, they have issues trying to clear the ball.
Step down look, and that's a good quality look for Christian Kapitanovic. And he misses cage for Croatia. Richard Seidlitz still in goal for Sweden. And the Swedes have had man-up opportunities, then that last chance on the doorstep, and still nothing to show for it. They were held to 4 goals by Wales. But possessions have not been the issue. Paul Blight carries down the left alley. After the knockdown and the pursuit by Croatia, and the ground ball picked up by Rafael Nielsen. He was looking for his teammate, turned it over, quick shot, Seidlitz the save off the stick. And Seidlitz remains a cool customer, recovering the rebound and floating a pass forward for Anton Johansson.
Nice save, nice outlet there.
Then in front, and Turgo makes another doorstep save on Bromander.
2 in a row. What a way to start off the second quarter. He's positioned very well, and he's very quick.
Meanwhile, for Croatia head coach Kevin Boyle, you've got a tremendous performance so far from one player. I think your offenses look patient. What do you think he told his team at the break?
I think being up 6-0 at this point in time, I think that basically he would be talking about the same thing: is slow the ball down, try not to make as many unforced errors, protect the ball. Not that much different than I think what Sweden would be telling their players. They have been initiating moving the ball to the goal very well. It's just that they have had their share of unforced errors as well.
Ryan Gorup will now reset, and Croatia will start with a midfielder high and then start to get some offense in track. Zagreb being perhaps the heart of lacrosse, the Zagreb Patriots. They are most represented on this Croatian team. They're one of the lacrosse clubs in the small country of Croatia. Here's a stall warning on for the first time as Croatia kind of slow coming into the attack. Then they take the shot by Gorup, save made by Seidlitz. First time we've seen the stall put on as Gustav Thompson goes ahead for Bromander. Bromander with a path, and then his crossfield pass is intercepted. Telegraph pass, and well done defensively by Croatia.
That is the first stall call that I've seen in all the games that we've done together.
And a very good stick shown from Luka Korov defensively. He took away a 2-on-1 to prevent a scoring opportunity. Now a flag is down in the vicinity of offside. No, check that. It's going to be a 1-minute slash. And they're pulling Anton Johansson off the field. Man up, set to begin for Croatia. Opening 5 minutes of the third quarter. Croatia looking for their first win. They were losers 13-2 Thursday at the hands of Ireland. Room and time to take the shot, and that's off target from Brennan. Brennan here, lefty on the wing. Looks backside.
Nice skip.
Fantastic. He put the ball where only Christian Kapitanovic could make the catch. And Kapitanovic has the goal, but all set up on the pass by Brennan.
Very nice skip pass. I don't think Sweden was expecting that.
He got that through several different sticks, and he made it easy for his teammate. Kapitanovic also plays for that Zagreb team. There's actually different Zagreb teams. There's Zagreb Bulldogs, Zagreb Patriots in the capital city. Man up goal to convert on the 1 minute slash on Johansson.
Well, in line with what you're saying, there's over 11 lacrosse clubs in Sweden, 200 active players. They have a box team as well, as I understand. So there's a share, Swedish players that are out there that are playing.
And both nations represented in box two. That'll be the tricky thing moving forward, TD, as now with the 3 different versions of lacrosse with sixes becoming popular. That is going to be the Olympics sport, at least in the short term. Box lacrosse, the indoor game, and then the full field game. Some of these rosters get stretched. Some of the players may choose one or the other. And some nations, certainly like Czechia, who are talented but are trying to figure out how they can fill rosters for all these different teams, and then how do you manage that moving forward, and what the players also are most comfortable with moving forward too.
Right. Well, I was talking to my son, who we've mentioned is a goalie for the Polish national team, and how the sixes is going to really require a different, a more offensive goalie than someone who just stays in the net. They're going to, because that's going to be the 6th player on the team, and with only 6 players on the team, you're going to need everyone to be somewhat offensive in playing.
Yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, certainly someone that is active and athletic enough out of cage and can start transition with outlet passes.
It's going to be a quick game.
Yeah, and I figure sixes goalies, they're going to be goalies that have multiple assists in tournaments if they're very effective with their outlet passes, throwing over the top and leading the break. Meanwhile here, UL Salenhag trying to get down the right alley. Salenhag, the throwback, open shooter, and the bouncer never makes it through. Neil Schneider went with the bouncer. The pass hit him, and it somehow stayed out. Sweden still scoreless. Transition chance for Ford, and Ford was able to square up his body for the shot as he missed the target. There's no backup either. No, there is, actually pointed to Croatia.
Well, Sweden certainly has had their opportunities. I mean, they've had some pretty good shots on goal. They just haven't gone in.
And the behind-the-back shot from Jack Brennan. Jack Brennan is from Manhasset but attended Chaminade High School. He's out of the class of 2016 and helping the vaunted Chaminade Flyers win Catholic League championships as a junior and sophomore, with his older brother Michael, who played lacrosse at Villanova, also on this team. I'm sure they're having the time of their lives. Gorup, and the throwback for Kukulecha. Room to rip again, and Brennan still trying to find his shot today. Kukulecha slipping down, stays with it. Croatia has felt very comfortable taking the outside shot. That has not been the case for some teams that we watched so far, TD, in this tournament.
Well, in watching, for example, Italy play, they were moving the ball to the inside all the time. Most of their shots were within probably less than 6 feet of the goal.
Flag is out, and Croatia will get themselves another man up with under 5.5 left, third quarter. And we'll check what the call will be, but it is certainly going to be Croatia going man up. Yeah, last night, Poland, who's going to be playing Germany coming up in an hour or so. They showed the first zone that I've seen, a true 3-3 zone that threw off Spain. Spain settled for a ton of outside shots. Croatia here against a man-to-man has been comfortable in taking the shot from 10 plus.
And most of what you've seen is man-to-man defense.
And coaches have told me, TD, there's just not enough time to truly install a good zone defense prior to coming in, Brennan. And now we get a moving screen called off ball during the man up for Croatia. Well, Croatia with a comfortable 7-0 lead, but it could be a lot more with under 5 minutes left in the third. And every minute is also an opportunity to clean things up for the next game. Seidlitz, remember, he's down a man. After a 1 minute slash, looks for the clear, knocked down by Ford of Croatia. Powers will shove off Ford and then shovels it ahead for Bromander. Anton Bromander overran it. Powers then will take the shot. Turgo.
Oh, another great save.
Turgo, what a look by Powers, low to high. That's his first shot of the game.
You know, they talk about when a goalie sees the ball and you get zoned in, and that's what the Croatian goalie is doing. He's zoning in really to the ball. He's doing a great job with that, and he's very reactive.
Timeout taken by Coach Boyle of Croatia. 7-0 lead. We are back to all even here with 4 minutes and change left in the third quarter as Croatia has this game very comfortably in hand. Croatia will next play against Wales after a day off, while Sweden still has to play against Ireland. So that is a very tough schedule, the way things are shaping up for Martin Davidson, before his team could go into the losers bracket and try to fight their way up towards the highest placement possible. At 7-0, Marin Domic, 4 goals and an assist, all in the first half. And then Christian Kapitanovic as the lone goal, a man-up finish on a gorgeous pass from Jack Brennan. And that's the story here of the third quarter. Germany facing Poland coming up later on. Fortunately, there's been no rain, at least for these day games or morning games yet. But it continues to be overcast and very cold and windy for these athletes. TD, how is your son holding up physically? It's still early, but he has been through this before.
He has. He really committed himself to training, and he's been working out with a trainer for the last year. He also does boxing, which is great for your hand movements and speed. And he got committed to getting ready to play, and so far, knock on wood, he's holding up. And as you know, he's a very physical type of goalie. Likes coming out of the goal, so he's going to have some wear and tear on his body, but it's holding up so far.
Now, wear and tear, attrition, survival, those are usually the words when you think about these international lacrosse tournaments. Teams can look healthy and good on paper, but then at times, due to the heat and the elements, teams all of a sudden start to see the rosters get pared down. You have to start to make adjustments. World Lacrosse changing the roster maximum from 23 to 22. You lose a couple of guys, particularly specialists, all of a sudden you have guys playing out of position and playing a lot more than anticipated, which also then leads to issues. Feed into the crease as Bartu Marunic was open. Decent look by Luke Horish-Bright, but he couldn't quite find him, and it's turned over out of the Croatian timeout.
Well, you'll notice the goalies also just the equipment that they wear. They try to wear as little equipment as possible, and inevitably they're going to get hit with a ball or whatever. And uh, you look at both the Sweden goalie and the Croatian goalie. They're both of them are wearing a bare minimum of equipment. It comes down. Oh,
What a feed ahead. Luke Horish-Blight is able to feed his teammate Gorup, who has not been shy about shooting the shot from distance today. And Gorup has one of the longest goals of this tournament. That one clearly from the shortened restraining line here. That's a good 15-yard rip, and it's 8-0.
yeah, I think in the PLL that would be a two-pointer.
You think? Yeah, I would think the PLL two-point range is a little bit further out.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Maybe it's further out. And for fans that may not exactly see it from our above the top camera, the restraining line is much closer to the goal than what you would see in a North America field game or even in Europe, the way they've followed along the better fields there, where it's a true box. Here it's just one line directly across, going sideline to sideline, but it's about 5 yards too short of where it usually is. As Ford, save made Seidlitz going off stick side. And the ball will be pointed over to Sweden. But what that does is when there is a stall warning in effect, it does squeeze the field a little bit on the offense, where they have to use the corners a little bit more, but that's not really a great advantage. Sweden finally with possession, first time in a while. And the lead is ballooned on them to up to 8.
If you look at the game, Sweden really has done a very good job of getting to the ground balls and picking them up. They just haven't been able to maximize, getting ball control on the, either losing it to a throw or, just an unforced error. But they've done their share of getting the ball.
And they had numerous possessions, early man-ups when the score was still within striking distance. Powers able to free up his hands. He's been held to just one shot, and that's certainly a massive problem for Sweden. And now a flag is down here on the near side. It's going to be a 30-second hold against Croatia. And heading to sit in the box is Timothy Ivancic. So Sweden, another chance to get the 0 out of the way and see if they can build off of that. Ivancic in the box, feed down low, Bromander, and he still can't beat Turgo. He tried to bounce it, and Turgo is so spry and active.
Turgo is just focused in on the goal, and he's had 4 or 5 shots on him that have been right on top of him, and he's stopped every single one of them.
He plays the game much younger than 38 years old, does he not, TD? Your son is 35 in goal. This feed, and Turgo pounces on it again. Well, the energy he plays with certainly seems to translate to his teammates. That's the end of the third quarter. And Croatia will have it down a man when the fourth begins, as they are shutting out Sweden as we head to the fourth in Group C from World Lacrosse TV and Lax TV. At the start of the fourth quarter, Sweden, with its latest opportunity to get the 0 off the board, was thwarted by Tomas Turgo. And while in an 8-0 game, Tom, you're probably not going to end up spending a lot of time talking about the goalie, but Tomas Turgo has been pretty good. And Kevin Boyle, head coach of Croatia, has got to feel really good about what he has seen from him, regardless of score.
Yeah, I would almost go beyond pretty good. He's had an excellent game. I mean, he really has. He stopped everything that's been thrown at him, and he's had at least 4 or 5 shots right on the crease that he's been able to keep out of the goal.
Timothy Ivancic will come up with the clear, legs it, and tight ropes it down the sideline here for Ryan Gorup. Turgo, and just watching him too, just the way he carries himself, his energy, he doesn't need any coffee, TD, in the morning, afternoon, or night. And at 38 years old, you could see that he seems to be, my guess is, a real inspirational guy. I'm looking forward to the next Croatian game to find out more about what Turgo's significance is to this Croatian team.
He's playing really well. And for a Masters guy, though, 38 is a youngin'.
I thought a Masters was at 50.
Well, I'm 72 and still playing, so.
I thought you have to be at least 50 to count as a Masters guy.
Well, I think actually for the tournaments, I think you're correct. If you're 50, you're a master.
Kapetinovic took a shot on the move with the right hand, in and out of the stick of Seidlitz. And the ground ball belongs to Croatia. However, Sweden is able to force the attackman out of bounds, as that was number 99, Patrick Majerjevic, who was one of those 4 members of the junior ice hockey national team for Croatia. And hold on, we have a timeout taken here early fourth quarter. At 8-0 is our score. Marin Domic, the story, 4 goals and an assist out of the first 5 goals for Croatia to put this one nearly to bed. Let's see if Croatia was granted the possession out of that timeout. And Croatia does regroup. And for Sweden, they're still looking for their first goal. John Segerlius, their longtime assistant coach with Martin Davidson. They have both reunited to be coaches. They were not the coaches of the team in 2023 in San Diego during that cycle. Head coach was Steve Luna then. But the two of them helped start lacrosse in Sweden. Segerlius was playing starting in 1994 in the first European Championship then, all the way up until 2010, and still having a vital role. And Sweden has the longest tenure of lacrosse out of the Nordic countries. I got a chance to broadcast Denmark many times in San Diego, and I really liked the way they had been taking shape. And Norway also extremely homegrown too, as is Finland. Finland with a very great box influence too. So the Nordic countries have truly prioritized trying to get to be homegrown. Out of the timeout, it is Croatia that was given the possession before a turnover. So the timeout works, and Marin Domic here will start it off back behind. And Domic on the approach against Gustav Ekman. Domic off the fake, then took the shot, blocked. And I think someone is in the crease. Or was there a push off ball? That's what our officials are trying to make a decision about. A total of 4 officials work each and every one of these games in the European Lacrosse Championships.
I'm not sure. It looks like one of the Croatian players may have been hit.
Croatian player had his helmet off, so I'm wondering if there was at least an injury concern.
Well, he's staying in the game so far. I thought he might have gotten hit by the ball.
And that was Jack Brennan that took his helmet off. He might have been the guy that was hit by the shot of his own teammate. There is no one in the box. There was no flag. And they're calling 2 players in the crease, so here is a very rare, in essence, face-off outside the box.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, this is basically, I've seen this in the international game. In the American game, that you go to an alternating possession arrow that's in the book when something like this. So I think both players from Croatia and Sweden both ended up in the crease. So this is how they'll decide it. In essence, it's a way to earn possession rather than flip of a coin. So off of that face-off, fortunate for Sweden, Henrik Nelson was already on the field, their primary face-off guy, as was Luka Kukulecha, who is a first offensive midfielder, so neither team gained an advantage there because their face-off guys were already on. But Croatia is able to finally get the benefit of a whistle and still have possession. And then a push without possession is called as Domic was smothered. And Brennan will now attack the short stick D-midi in Neil Schneider. 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. Croatia still working on a shutout. There's been just 2 of them here at the tournament as Domic misses wide with the right hand. Gorp with the backup. Gorp feed in front, and he had Patrick Marojevic in front, and Marojevic couldn't receive the pass. And here on the handle is Rafael Nielsen, dropping off for Aron Larkenfeld. But Larkenfeld did not have an outlet as he is forced to the sideline. Croatia restores some order. They pretty much have this game in their back pocket, but they would love to continue to work on things. Every time you come out here, it's a chance to move forward and get better. Croatia will face a very difficult Wales team to break down. And Wales having a very good face-off guy. Oh, what a nice face dodge and goal. Luke Harish Blight. What a tremendous initial stick fake to separate himself. That's one of the top goals today. 9-0 Croatia.
He brought that to the goal all by himself. That was a nice goal.
His Croatian name of his mom is Rogic. Luke Harish Blight is able to come up with one of the top goals I've seen today. And tremendous skill shown. 9-0 Croatia. Luke just finished up his freshman year playing at Division II American International, but he is, as I said before, from Vancouver, British Columbia. I think he is transferring to Florida Southern next. AIC located in Massachusetts, where he just spent his freshman year. Now a flag is down after the play. And they have yet to pick the flag up. Let's see who's heading off. This looks like it's a foul against Croatia. So a man up begins for Sweden, and they would just love to eliminate the zero. Bulgaria, in their first international competition,
There we go.
has been the lone team shutout. Powers goes down low, and Ludvig Thompson makes it look easy. And Sweden can exhale. It's now 9-1. Just a textbook man up instantly. And Powers, I think, noting that Croatia was a little bit unbalanced.
Just a really nice score there. They got the ball to the man down low on the crease, and good things happen when you pass the ball like that.
And a pretty finish from Ludvig Thompson with a decent angle. And a timeout is taken, I think, by Sweden here to stop the running clock and to see if they can come up and make a mini run out of this with 8:55 left. I believe that's Sweden's final timeout. So now they can regroup as with head coach Martin Davidson to focus on this next face-off and to generate possessions. Henrik Nelson has shown he can win face-offs, but the problem with the Swedes has been after the face-off, the next pass, and then leading to a clean clear.
You're absolutely right, Ralph. They've done a really nice job actually at on Fogo. I mean, they've gotten really their share of possessions and stuff, but it's just that they've had, you know, from there they go to an unforced error. It's unfortunate because they've done a really good job with that.
Yeah, my sense, TD, is that the speed of the game greatly accelerates for teams that don't have players with a ton of experience in North America. Then you get to these tournaments, and when you win a face-off, maybe in your club game, you have more time to make the next pass than you do here, where someone is all over you.
Right, you're absolutely right. And I think we've only seen one clean face-off the entire game so far. And that was by Croatia, and they came down and shot, I think, as I recall. Didn't score, but the other games that we've watched, I mean, you know, there's been one player that's dominated at the face-off position.
This one has been a little bit more balanced, but Nelson is able to get the benefit of the procedure call. So here is Sweden to try to follow that up. And they have a man up coming out of it. Powers from distance. And easy save. Turgo into his stick. That's perhaps a forced look by Powers. Transition for Croatia. Ivancic. And Ivancic is down a man looking to play it ahead. And now the pickup by Powers defensively. Not able to see it was Aaron Larkenfeld. And Croatia. And we're back to all even. 8 minutes to go. It's 9-1. And Croatia can take some air out of the ball and sub through the midfield. Croatia demoralizing Sweden even early in the game when the score was 3-0, 4-0. The Swedes, even when they got good opportunities, they had two good man-ups when the score was 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 in there. Could not score. And that has seemed to bubble over and hold a cloud onto the Swedish team through the middle quarters.
Well, you know, I think you have a combination of a hot goalie who has stopped virtually everything in front of him other than the one goal off the man down. And just the fact that Croatia has done a good job when they do have the ball of getting some good shots off.
Gorup on the shot and the finish by Brennan. Rather, the assist to Brennan to make it 10-1. Now is a shot from distance. Croatia's even hit a couple of those today. And showing off their range at 10-1. And Croatia will be an interesting team should they go into the loser's bracket, where they have some components where they could win multiple games throughout the loser's bracket and finish somewhere in the top 10. I think that appears to be very realistic. Nelson off the faceoff pursued, and the whistle goes against Croatia again. Kevin Powers has been held to just an assist as he tries to turn the corner and does score. Powers was determined, I think, after that shot seconds ago that he was stopped on, finally to get involved. Powers, with a tremendous individual play, makes it 10-2.
What a big effort on his part. As he's falling down, he shoots the ball and puts it in. That was you don't see that very often.
That's what makes Kevin Powers a tremendous talent. He was honored after the game yesterday against Wales for scoring his 150th career international goal as a member of Sweden. And noted by Martin Davidson and staff how much he works to try to make everybody else around him better. Nelson off the faceoff. And the pickup here from Gustav Thompson. Powers will also play some short stick on the wing on the faceoffs too. And the ground ball was handled by Croatia. Nelson with nowhere to go. And Croatia will turn over the Swedes again at 10-2. And now we have another flag out.
Well, we've seen our share of loose ball scrums during this game. It seems both teams have been fighting all along for possession.
Actually, it is a flag. Thought it was against Sweden. This is against Croatia. By the way, the earlier goal was Jack Brennan from Ryan Gorup on that distance shot. Gorup went with a shot from about 15 yards earlier, representing one of the longest goals that we've had that I've seen yet in this tournament. Sweden with a late man up, nearing 4 minutes to go. They've scored both of their goals today in the fourth.
Any young goalie who's watching this game should look at how the Croatian goalie plays. He moves around the goal nicely. When the ball's behind, he's turned in the following the ball all the way from the back to the front, and he basically moves so well in the goal.
And I'll add that his activity level, I imagine we can't necessarily hear him, but since he has a substantial presence on the field, I think that the defenders can feel. A real subtle thing as that's a failed clear on the pass by Duvniak.
Well, having a son that's a goalie, it's mandatory that the goalie, in essence, becomes the captain of the defense. They have other than tending the goal, they have other responsibilities to.
Oh, that's Powers sneaking in a shot that Turgo could not reach to the off sticks. I think actually Turgo being a lefty, that is to the upper 90 to the near pipe.
That was a nice shot. What I was continuing to say though is that the goalie really has to talk to the defense, has to coordinate. They're like the quarterback of in football of the defense.
Tremendous finish by Powers, and we're seeing just a glimpse of his talents. Got a nice skip pass, and then was able to show off a quick release and make that. Turgo is a righty, so that was an off-stick side shot.
A very nice ball placement on that shot.
But that looked beautiful and a difficult one to execute. Here's William Ringstrom. As Ringstrom, I see him on the field for the first time as he pursues the ground ball before Kulecha carried it for a second. Sweden battles, and they're able to win the ball through Ludvig Thompson. Play a little bit unsettled. Anton Johansson eyes to the front. And then the rip here by Ludvig Thompson is wide. Sweden was hoping to improve their ball movement today by moving Anton Johansson, who is in law school right now at Stockholm University. Anton, I also met him when he was the coach of the Swedish U21 squad in Limerick a couple years ago. Very invested in the program. There's Anton Johansson. Anton off the fake. Anton and the shot.
Right off the pipe.
Square off the pipe, off the crossbar for Anton Johansson. As it stays 10-3, Croatia. 1:20 left. And Croatia off the clear. You think about how they'll manage this. Ford, though, with other ideas. He's able to turn and slam one in with a flag out. Jonathan Ford sensing this is a chance for me to get involved offensively.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's every long pole's dream is to be able to score.
Jonathan Ford is from California, and 4 very good years at Notre Dame, capturing the program's first national championship. He attended Torrey Pines in the San Diego area, which is one of the California traditional powers, one of the early powers from Rancho Santa Fe, and winning a national championship as a senior, the first ever in 2023. And he played in a limited amount of games as a long stick midi, but still gets a championship ring out of that. And watching his brother Christian Ford, who's also played for Team Croatia, who had played at Michigan. And he comes from some special royalty, the Fords. He's the grandson of Gerald Ford, the 38th President of the United States. And now representing Croatia. Yeah, that certainly is. Yes, it is. Turgo will back it out for the final 48 seconds. And he can relax here to Bobby Duvniak and kill off the rest of this clock. What will be most satisfying to you for Croatia in this win today, Tom?
Well, I think that the team is really building together. You can see that they're starting to gel. They're passing the ball nicely. Their defense, they have a really good, very good defense, which starts with their goalie. And I think they're going to just continue to build off of that.
Yeah, it should be a dangerous team, assuming that they don't come up and knock off Wales in their next game into the knockout round out of the loser's bracket, as that heave by Ford is off with 5.5 seconds left. At 11-3. And a heave by Seidlitz. Meanwhile, Sweden will have the tough task of trying to break down Ireland next. That's it here from Wrocław, Poland. Croatia did a lot of the heavy lifting early, led 6-0, and just made life difficult for Sweden every time they tried to dodge. And then Thomas Turgo frustrated them in goal. Just when the game was still in the balance enough, Turgo would stifle several chances, even on Swedish man-ups. Kept the 0 on the board, and that 0 was like a monkey or an anvil on the shoulders of Sweden. Croatia takes this one 11-3 to pick up their first win in Poland. Marin Domic was excellent, 4 goals and an assist. He had a hand in the first 5 tallies for Croatia. He was the high man today, and getting support up and down the lineup from the rest of his team. Kevin Powers, 2 goals to pace Sweden today. Jack Brennan, a goal and 2 assists among the leaders, 1-1 for Ryan Gorup. That'll do it for my partner, Thomas Dvalevsky. A pleasure. My name is Ralph Bendorchik saying so long. And for our producer and director up top in Mateusz Gwóźdź, we say so long and goodbye on Lax TV and World Lacrosse TV from the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championships.
We honor our indigenous roots and international history. Lacrosse is more than a game. We play with speed, heart, and precision. Young, modern, electric, inclusive, growing across the globe. Lacrosse is everyone's sport, governed globally, by World Lacrosse.
The Good Stick Company is here to manufacture and produce lacrosse sticks locally here in the Czech Republic. Our mission is to make lacrosse more accessible so more kids can have access to affordable, high-quality equipment so more people can play this game and we can share this sport around the world. Our philosophy on pricing is quite simple. By removing all these different logistics and these middlemen in the manufacturing process of lacrosse sticks, we can pass those savings on to you. We can make these quality lacrosse sticks affordable for more people.
I'm here with Marin Domic, number 12 for Croatia, as they defeat Sweden 11-3. Marin, you had 4 goals, 1 assist, a wide variety of shots. Tell me about your offensive approach to this game.
I think a big deal about it was just slowing the game down, and especially looking for my other teammates. They were super helpful today, but biggest thing, especially since our game against Ireland, we chose to throw the ball away a ton. I think that slowing the game and playing with our team as one was definitely the biggest thing.
Awesome. Now tell me about that goalie, Thomas Turgo. He seems to have a lot of a leadership. What kind of energy does he bring to the squad?
He's a huge part of it. He's actually our tata, which means father in Croatian. So it's a big deal to have him here. I just met him only 2 weeks ago, so it's really important to have him. He brings a lot of camaraderie, and he's also a really good guy.
Now, as a California native, tell me about this experience. What's it been like to get to know some of these guys that live in Croatia?
I think it's really cool. I think it's cool to see how the game's different. Obviously, being from California, it's very different than being from the East Coast, so the game's definitely growing from there. But seeing how they learn the game and play the game, it's definitely a really cool experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Marin. Once again, Croatia defeats Sweden 11-3 here at day 3 of the 2025 Men's European Lacrosse Championships.